Let's start at the very beginning of what it means to be a raider and explore why being a raider is the next step in your MMO adventure. Good day, friends. Maloa here. I've been a raider for 10 plus years now, and I have met some of my best online friends through raiding. Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain and teach you all the basics about raiding. Now, if you are adamant about staying a solo player, then this video is not for you. I love you, but I don't want you to waste your time. Go explore your next solo RPG game. However, if you've reached the end game of your MMO and are wondering whether you should roll another character, try another MMO, or dip your toe into the world of raiding, then you are in the right place. I will not be telling you what MMO to play, because that is such a personal choice, based on what type of RPG you like to play, or maybe you enjoy survival games, open world puzzles, or crafting games. In the majority of MMOs, once you reach an endgame, the doors to becoming a raider will open up to you. The information that I'll be sharing with you today will apply to any MMO, because even though the devs don't want to admit it, they all hack each other's games, especially when something is working well, and then incorporate it into their own game. Let's dive in. A raid is an in-game activity that requires multiple players to work together to overcome obstacles and boss fights to get the best loot in the game. These are typically not part of the open world, but rather special instances that you will load into and experience a linear progression through. These raids are too challenging for you to solo, since these raids are designed specifically with multiple players in mind. If you've ever accidentally stepped foot into one and died in the first 5 seconds of the fight, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Many players will find this daunting. Oh no, you mean I have to be sociable? Do I have to talk to other players? If you want to do raiding, then yes, but don't be afraid, they won't bite. Also, you can just type, don't have to speak up. Besides the chance to make new friends, raiding is fun because you get to solve complex problems, often involving the coordination of 4 or more people. Learn how to play your class the way it was designed to be played in a raid. But let's face it, most of us are in it for the loot and for the titles that say we did this thing. Not all raids are created equal. Some raids can take you hours to complete, others a mere 30 minutes. So know what you're getting yourself into when you sign up. Raids also have different levels of difficulty. The easiest level is often referred to as story mode. This is where you experience the story arc RPG of the raid. The devs want to keep story mode easy because they want everyone to be able to experience the story. Typically, as long as you have the basic group composition, you should be absolutely fine and will sail through story mode. However, the best loot is going to be behind higher levels of difficulty. The higher the level of difficulty, the more challenging it is, the longer it will take to master, and so the loot will be better. If not better loot, then at least it will allow you to earn loot faster. Higher levels of raiding can be challenging, and you need a balanced group of players who know their raid classes super well. But I won't worry about that now. Simply focus on starting with story mode to see if this is even something that you'd enjoy doing. There are 4 raid roles in any team: tank, heals, damage, and support. Tanks are responsible for keeping the attention of the enemy at all times and making sure the boss is not hitting any of the other players. Healers are responsible for keeping everyone alive. Damage will be the ones that do damage to the boss and take him out. Support is there for buffing and debuffing targets, crowd control, and supporting whichever class needs assistance the most. Some games will group support and healers into the same group, but I like to split them out because their functions are different. As a solo player, you've probably only focused on damage and not on survivability. You may learn that the class you've been playing is actually a healer, a tank, or even a support in a raid environment. This means that you'll need to learn how to play the class from scratch. If you find yourself in this situation, raiding may feel a bit overwhelming. I recommend doing a YouTube search for your class to learn what it is you need to do in the raid. Some of your skills will change, and you will need to learn the new rotation of your skills. Practice the new skill rotation, and you'll probably be ready to head into story mode. The more you practice your new team role, the better you'll get at that role. Starting in raiding, you may find a lot of resistance to people wanting to take you on any of the big raids. I need you to hear me. They are not being meanies. It's simply that you have not geared up your class enough. What does gearing up look like? All MMOs have a gearing up process, where you start with the smaller type of raid content to get materials or gear pieces to enhance your abilities in the raid. You will need to grind those out to be able to meet the minimum requirements to make it into the more advanced raids. Go Google your game name plus gearing up, and I'm sure you'll find the exact information you need to be able to know step by step what you need to do to gear up. I enjoy gearing up because it is less stressful than the big raids and allows you to experiment with your class and get to learn some of the basic fight mechanics. Another way to improve your raid abilities is to have consumables to use. Consumables can often be crafted and are used to increase your health, mana, stamina, amount of heals you do, amount of damage you do, amount of damage you receive from the boss, and so forth. They can make or break the success of a raid. Be sure to research what type of consumables you need to make in your game to help you perform better in the raid. I can't list them all out here because, well, the consumables are going to be different for each game, but realize that they do exist. By now, you've practiced your raid role, geared up, have your consumables in hand, and are ready to face the big boss fight in story mode. Often the best place for you to start will be in what is known as PUGs, which stands for Pickup Groups. These are groups that are often formed using the world general chat in the game and through the game's group finder. It is a bunch of random people who don't know each other. These are a hit and miss in whether or not they will succeed, but it is a great learning ground to experiment without hard or strict expectations. Before you invest even more time into raiding, I highly suggest you run a raid with a pug a couple of times. You will learn a lot, and you will die a lot. So it will be good for you to find out if raiding is even something you think you can get into. When you feel ready and you're convinced that you want to stay in raiding, then you will be ready to find your people. You may have to join multiple groups before you will find the one that feels right at home with. If there is someone in the pug groups you are running with, ask them to join their guild. 9 out of 10 times, this guild will have a Discord group. Join the Discord group, then sign up for the runs. You will quickly learn who the people are that you enjoy running with. Approach them and ask if they have a static raid team that you can join. Static because they meet every week. Raid teams will typically meet 1 or 2 times per week to work on learning content. Be sure that you are able to commit to at least 6 hours of raiding a week before making this leap. I would suggest discussing this commitment with your family beforehand so that they understand that this is 6 hours that you're taking to work on your craft. To put yourself in the best position to be picked for a raid team, you need to understand what they are looking for. First, the raid team may have a minimum set of requirements that need to be met. This could be basic gear requirements, stats, and the amount of damage or heals per second that you're able to do. These are all items that you can work on before even joining a raid team. Second, scheduling. Are you available to raid when they are scheduled to run? Scheduling is oftentimes even harder to accommodate than meeting the gear requirements. Discuss availability with your family so that you know what days of the week you have available and realistically know how much time you can devote to raiding. Class alignment. They often will be looking to fill a very specific class role. Do you play a class that they need? If you don't, then you probably won't get picked. Fourth, raid readiness. Do you show up on time for raids and are you ready to go? I often start by just showing up to raids even if I'm not in the roster, and then watch Discord streams so that I can learn how they do their runs. to show my support and interest. There may be other requirements, but these four are probably the most common. You could also make the argument that there is a personality match. If you don't fit in with the group, it may create tension and drama, and this is something that raid leaders like to avoid. I realize that I've just dumped a lot of information on you, and you may still have some trepidation to even get started. I recommend that you pick up the book From Rookie to Raider, where I go into much more depth about how to transition from being a solo player to being a force to be reckoned with in the high-end game rating. The link to the book can be found in the description below. We all have fears, even the fear of missing out. Do not let your fear be your crutch or your excuse for not taking the first step, even if that first step is just buying the book to read up on what rating is all about. Take your first step into the world of rating today, however small that step is. I guarantee you that you will experience your beloved game in a completely different way if you dare to take that one step. Just remember that all work works. Even our failures are progression because that's how we learn what does not work. So even our failures work for us. Before you know it, you'll be hanging out with friends and getting to explore parts of the game that were only a mystery to you before. Please hit the like and subscribe button because it shows me that what I've shared here with you today has made a difference in your life. Thanks for watching and happy hunting.